Look, punctuality is part of toxic masculinity, okay? So I'm trying to be as unmasculine as possible. I heard that what makes women moist. Like when they see a man that's not masculine, they go like, oh, I want that hunk. I want that piece of meat. I want him. He is so unmasculine. Like he was trading California. From Scat Francisco. That is the state that produces the best men in the fucking world. Am I wrong? Is that not how it works? Do I have ladies in the chat? I must have ladies I always have ladies in the chat, right? Because I'm not masculine. And I heard like you're a chick magnet. The less masculine you are, the more prospect of dating women you have. You become like a pillar of the fucking community, right? Like the more soy you ingest, the more the people look up to you and they're like, you know what? This is a person worth emulating. Why should I slow down, Chiron? Am I being a little bit too fast for you? Are you unable to keep up? Is English not your first language, Chiron? Like, do you want me to add subtitles so you can follow me more easy? Jesus fucking Christ, like the moment you are a little bit entertaining and you become a little bit more animated, you have a Chiron in the chat going, can you please slow down? I'm too old for this shit. I'm just too old. And then you have people like, are you drunk? Are you high? No, I'm being entertaining, alright? This is me being funny. What the fuck? You do comedy. I want to see how you do it, alright? Like, if you don't appreciate my beautiful way of making comedy, I want to see you do it. I guess, you know, like, maybe these people are the ones that like the late-night comedians. Like, you put a tie and a suit. Yeah, every single fucking late-night comedian has a suit, right? And they have a poker face and they're very serious when they're talking. This is what being presentable means. Just be super serious, right? Like just you talk about something. Oh, and you piss your eyes every now and then when you talk about the tragedy, right? Like I mean, you're in the media industry, right? Like you see tragedies every fucking day. There's wars happening. You report on it, right? But when there's a tragedy that benefits the Democrats, you're like, why do people still have guns? Oh, it's such a tragedy. Should be called TAHXIC, since it uses that pay all the taxes, keep the welfare state afloat. Oh my fucking god, that is true. Paying taxes. Is it toxic masculinity? I think it is. Paying taxes. Horrible. His nickname is V, but he does not wear V-necks. I hate V-necks. Who wears V-necks? Just, ugh. Horrible. See, now you interrupted my flow. Who did that? Who is the son of a bitch that interrupted my flow? I was like on a roll, baby. Like the jokes were coming. I was having a good time. The chat was having a good time. You know, the chat mirrors the streamer and all that shit. And then someone said that I need to slow down. Fucking hell. Why did you do that? Why did you make me slow down? I do barely have a neck. You know what? I should get like that Antifa guy. What was his name? The Antifa professor, which went on Fox News. Like the guy had a giraffe of a fucking neck. I have never seen a person with a neck as big as that guy. Like seriously, like I think he's like a next step in human evolution. Like every day, you know, like his neck grows taller. Like if he finds a woman with a similar neck, he can breed a human with a bigger neck. So yeah, I'm the opposite of him. I have no neck, especially when I slouch like this. The neck disappears. These people are called hecklers? I've been heckled. Holy shit. The problem is... Siron heckled me. Been heckled. I didn't know that there is a name for it. It's like heckler. By the way, do you guys know that there is a VTuber AI? Right? Like, we now have an artificial intelligence VTuber. Like, there's no person behind the shit. Right? And when they're streaming, it's just the AI. And I'm thinking, motherfucker, I'm gonna get replaced. There's no fucking way I can compete with that shit. Because the problem is, it was even entertaining. Let me see if I can find the example. I showed it to Pipik and Pippa. She was also horrified. Look at this. Look at this, chat. Look at it. Hold on. She's also playing games that humans cannot play. Like, I mean... like rhythm games that are so insanely fast that a human can't do it.
I think the average IQ of an NPC in an OSU game is around an 11-year-old child's IQ level. Do I hate the French? No, I love all humans. Except maybe the French. Do you think Pepe would let active cheaters in the top 100? I think Pepe would ban active cheaters immediately no matter how much money they have.
This is an AI, right? But it's not the jokes that are funny. Like okay, so she does say funny shit, but I have seen her play video games and Jesus fucking Christ. It was so fucking entertaining. I'll make a video about it. It was really good. But we're at that level. Yeah, she can probably play 6 games of Tetris at once, yeah. But it's like... good God! You know, I thought that AI would go into things that require logic and stuff, like piloting an airplane, driving a car, you know, that... No, they're going into entertainment. Like, I literally thought that, you know, if the AI becomes prevalent, like, the last thing that they'll do is go into the arts, right? Like, they're not going to be able to write poetry. They're not going to be able to draw a pretty picture. You know, they're not going to know how to stimulate the soul. Boy, how wrong I fucking was. They're going to come to take my job. I swear to fucking God. Like, there's going to be people... Like, how can you even compete with that shit, right? Like, you have a machine running 24/7. Like, you can literally plug the AI and you can get the AI to stream 24 hours a day. How can you compete with that? She sounds like a discount lane. Yeah, no, sure. You know, like, you can complain and say, well, the voice is kind of boring. Do you guys remember how a website came out a couple of months ago, which perfectly imitated Jordan Peterson? Like, you couldn't tell the difference. To the point where Jordan Peterson started flipping out. Because, like, you could make, like, deepfake audio to the point where Jordan Peterson could sound like he's having an orgasm. Or he's constipated or whatever, right? So, you can probably patch something like that to an AI and you can make them sound like however you want. It doesn't necessarily need to have like that robot voice. Like, you need to take into account the technology just came out on the market, right? Like, it came out this year, it became popular. Imagine like 10 years from now. They can definitely replace me. You know, like, there is an AI of Sargon that people can't tell if it's Sargon or not. I mean, we're literally at that, like, the technology is there. Like, people have to mention, no, this is not Sargon. Become a high logic humanities national. You know what? I think the AI at least will start pushing woke bullshit. Like, woke bullshit is so fucking illogical that I don't think an AI can do it. I legitimately, like, you know, like, you can get an AI to write poetry, to sing music, but I don't think you can make it to write woke bullshit. Hello, Max Turner. Welcome to the show. Merry Christmas to you as well. You know what? I actually had a great Christmas. I had a bad start. Started awful due to family tragedy, but I got some good super chats 2 days ago. Today I also met some relatives. You know what? All in all, wasn't a bad Christmas. Could have been worse. So I do want to thank chat. And my supporters. Well, you are great. Are there any AI rappers? You can ask the Open AI, Open GI or whatever, or the character AI to do your rap. And it's going to make rap lyrics. Okay. Should we go into the toxic masculinity? We're going to talk about toxic masculinity beams of destruction in a bit. AI cringes at the woke stuff. It's not like that. It's more like the woke stuff requires like a complete different worldview that doesn't really make fucking sense. And to write like academic papers on it, you have to be disingenuous. Like, you literally have to be manipulative, to lie, to change the definition of words, to replay the context of certain things. Right, and it's very difficult for the... I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's probably a lot more difficult than just getting the AI to do coding or math. I think you can make an intersectional AI on character AI. But like I'm saying, like make it to write new things, right? Not just parrot the stuff that exists, but like make it to write a new thesis. Alright, so immigrants were being sent to Kamala Harris's house. And what I understand, like if you read on the articles, everyone is writing, like this is important to mention. In a cold day of winter. In a cold day of winter, immigrants were sent to Kamala Harris. Like you can't be a journalist unless you mention the temperature. Right. What I am surprised is that I see people on the internet not knowing how to tackle this argument. And the correct answer is, how many people care about the homeless veterans, for example, that are in the same cold winter? Right? So like, if you're a US veteran and you happen to be homeless, you need to get to Mexico, get Mexican citizenship, right? Like maybe marry a Latina or Latinx or whatever do they call them nowadays, right? So you need to get Mexican citizenship, or you need to go to Honduras, get Honduran citizenship, right? And then hop over the US border, and maybe then the government gives a shit about you. Right? Like that's how it works in the United States of A. What a beautiful country. What a beautiful round nation. What can I say? You know, I'm looking at it from Romania and I'm jealous. Like I wish our government treated the same. Like if you're homeless, they don't give a shit about you. But if you go to Poland, get Polish citizenship, and then hop over the border in Romania, all of a sudden you get rights. You know, then maybe the government would actually care about a group of people. Because like here in Romania, they don't care about anyone. But at least in the US, they care about immigrants. So like, it is a plus. What can I say? Like your government cares about more people than the ones that the Romanian government cares about. Deportation Goku. Oh, that was great. You know, like I need someone that can edit my videos without charging. Look, I'll pay you an exposure. I'll pay you an exposure. I'll give you $20. If you can clip the highlights of Maid-chan. Or at least Deportation Go. Or some, you know, like some AI. Because I want to share it on my main channel. Deportation Goku. Who makes the Kamehameha. Like if you're a citizen of the US, you don't get hurt. But if you're a migrant, you get teleported to your country of origin. If you get hit by Goku's Kamehameha. My fucking god, you know what? Yes, an AI editor, I would buy that. Fuck yeah. I would be all about it. By the way, I got the troll back, but I can't fucking connect to my recording device. It's so infuriating. It's frustrating. Like, I can get it to work in VTube Studio, I can get it to work in OBS, but if I try to get it to work in Camtasia, I get the green screen. And I really tried today. I would prefer if the US government didn't care about anyone, to be honest. At least that way, they would stay out of my life and let me work in... Dude, like, the US government wants to care when you take a shit. I mean, look, the level of desire for the US politician to care about anything you do is astonishing. Ask Mr. Quartering to recommend you an editor. I don't want to hire an editor. I just want, like, a small 3-minute clip. Okay, like I don't want to. I don't have that much money, chat. It's been Christmas, all right. Like I can't pay. I don't even think I can pay an exposure. Who the fuck watches me? I have subtitles on, and YouTube is censoring your cursing. They always did that. Do you know what's even worse about YouTube censoring my cursing? I'm a Romanian, okay? Me no speaking English. I have weird accent. And when I say I can't, the algorithm, like the subtitles, think that I'm cursing. Right? Like I'm using the slur for female vagina. But I want to say, like, I cannot, right? Like, so I got so many videos demonetized because I would say I can't. Like, let's say I say I can't. And well... You're not allowed to use a slur in a video, and apparently YouTube considers that a slur. It's probably like a remnants from the bygone feminist era. It's not even that bad of an insult. You know, like Australians use it as a hello. They use it like a good morning thing. That was another thing, like betting could actually get... I think it was like localized. Honestly, like I genuinely think it mattered on the localization. Because betting was saying like he was dropping the C-bombs so fast in every fucking video. He never once got demonetized. Not once. And when I was trying to just say I cannot, I like boom, yellow icon. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Microsoft built in speech-to-text censors all the time. It's not even that. Like, if I'm not mistaken, they have like this system in Microsoft Word now where if they spell check for political correctness. Like if you write in illegals, it will say undocumented migrants. So get the fucking documentation then! Why are they undocumented? Document them! Document them! So fucking weird. It's like, my god, like the level of mental gymnastics, you know? Like, he's not a burglar. He's undocumented... No, sorry, he's how should you say instead of a burglar? Yeah, it's not theft, it's surprise donation. It's kind of like that, you know, like the way it's not robbery. Sorry, it's not burglaring. It's oh yeah, it's not rape, it's surprise sex. You know, like that type of language. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, many people were upset about that. And many people were upset because you couldn't turn that shit off. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, like, sometimes maybe you want the PC Grammarly check. Because, like, the way it works, you can write a resume or something, right? Like, you write for, like, some corporate goons and, you know, like, you don't know. Like, you don't read The Guardian, you don't read CNN, you don't know what's trendy nowadays. You know, like, what used to be offensive yesterday can not be offensive today and vice versa. So you're like, all right, you know, like, turn on the mental retardation grammar check, and it's trying to see if you're like PC, okay, but like you couldn't turn it off. That's the problem. Taxes, yeah, you know, like why couldn't they call taxes involuntary donations? That would be so fucking good. It's like, have you paid your involuntary donations? I love the ones where they're saying like, you know, but Jesus Christ would have wanted you to do this. Jesus Christ would have wanted you to do that. And I read the Bible, alright? I read the fucking Bible. At no point did Jesus Christ say, alright, so what you need to do is to give money to the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire is then going to take care of your neighbor. Like, I must have missed that part. You know, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. But it must... So look here, you bigot, right? Like, I love this. Ana Navarro Cardenas, proud Nicaraguan American. Catch me on CNN. The View. Holy shit, The View. Don't lecture me about made-up war on Christmas or tell me Christ is the reason for the season if you support staging this cruel stunt on Christmas Eve, using human beings as political pawns. I love it when people who aren't Christians, like they think like, okay, it's kind of like, the way people tell the woke, you know, it's like, well, you care about equality, but, you know, and they don't listen, right? Like, that argument doesn't fucking work, you know, I'm just saying. But, hold on, there was something else that, like I remember this lady. I remember Ana Navarro, like, didn't she compare Michael Avenatti with the Holy Spirit? Right, like, this is an understanding of Christianity, right? Like, she compared, I remember on The View, she compared Michael Avenatti with the Holy fucking Spirit. Like, this lady, like, I genuinely don't understand. Like, I wish I would have her on an interview so I can understand her views on Christianity. Like, because I'm an atheist as well, but I would be astonished the moment she opens her mouth about anything related to the Bible. Like she has such a esoteric understanding of the Lord that I would be really curious to know more. Jesus paid his taxes and he also trashed the banks. Yeah, like Jesus de facto would have been a violator of the terms of service on Patreon. Like he went into that temple and he whipped those merchants like no fucking tomorrow. Like that is manifest observable behavior, like Jack Conte liked to call it. Like that is no fucking way Jesus Christ would have had the social media platform after that. Only until Elon Musk would free Twitter and allow Jesus to have like an amnesty, that's when Jesus would be able to return to Twitter. And I would like to remind people, Twitter is the place that has Andrew Anglin on it, but at the same time, they ban CNN journalists. Ethan Klein is back on Twitter. Unfortunately, like I used to make the joke, it's like Twitter is the place that has Andrew Anglin, but banned Ethan Klein, you know? Like, but now I can't. And the thing with Jesus, you know, like, he really didn't give a shit about it. Like you can use, I can use the Bible to tell you that Jesus didn't care about immigrants. I can literally do it. So, Jesus says two things. Number one, that give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, right? So, like, when it comes to paying your taxes, like, he basically makes the distinction between the government and the kingdom of heaven. So, in other words, he says that Christianity is a spiritual thing, and that the country you live in has different rules, and you should follow them. And there are rules where it says that you should follow the will of the king, right? Now, the will of the United States is that there are fucking borders and you shouldn't cross them illegally. So, like, Jesus literally says, like, no, if the government says that there are borders and you shouldn't cross them illegally, like, I mean, you can make the legal argument. Jesus actually never spoke about the gays. The only person that spoke... So in the Holy Bible, the gays are mentioned a couple of times in the Old Testament, never in a positive light. And then Saint Peter mentions the gays, I think, like once. Right? But that's pretty much it. Now, you can make the argument that due to the fact that, you can only have sex within marriage, and in the Bible, marriage is between a man and a woman, then you can't have, like, gay sex because that would be adultery. Do I know my Bible or what? Do I have a Catholic in the chat? A Catholic? Is that a Catholic in the chat? Probably not. Spooky left. But still, I think I understand the lore a lot better than most. It's easy to understand. It's not that difficult. I don't know why people are struggling with it. Thoughts on the so-called philosopher king figures? I have no idea. Jesus said to Arba, but like, I just want to say, as an atheist, I think that Christianity is a very weak religion. Like, I'm not part. Like, I'm not a big fan, you know? Like, in order to have Christianity, quote-unquote, survive, right? Because like, when you have, like, an aggressive religion dealing with Christianity, you can't just turn the other fucking cheek. Like, that's not how it works, right? Like, the woke don't turn the other cheek, you know? Like, Muslims do not turn the other cheek. Like, no, like, that's a weak religion. Whatever, you know? People may agree to disagree. But the thing is, in order for Christianity to survive, like, you needed a strong pope. You know, like, no one in the Bible does it justify, but it's like, oh, come on, the Islamic Empire has been attacking us for hundreds of years. Let's gather our force. Oh, crusade, yeah, like, if you go in a crusade and you kill people, your sins are forgiven. So, I mean, that's not in the Bible, but it worked. Why? Because, now, if you look at the real European religion, and you look at the Norse, I mean, look, you go to battle. If you die in battle, you go to Valhalla. That is some fucking cool shit, you know? It's like, oh, you go to hell if you die of old age. I mean, look, that is a warrior religion. That gets people, You know, like you're not going to get any more of them. Like, you know, but like if you're not really Norse. You're not really Norse if you don't care about people in the cold. And yeah, you know, like I'm just saying. Was a Christian Catholic for the first 12 to 13 years of my life. By the way, I do not know anything about Taoism or what the Japanese people worship. It looks pretty fucking cool in anime, not gonna lie. I don't know if that's in real life as well, but it kind of looks cool. Like, they have those temples with the bells and, you know, like, they got, like, this altar in their house with the ancestors and shit. It looks kind of great. I like that. I wish I could study more about that. It looks kind of, you know, like, the aesthetics of it. The aesthetics. Because I don't know anything about the culture. I don't know anything about that. The animes have not described. You gain more terrain with hearts than iron. Why not both? I mean, you know what? Islam disagrees with you. And not to mention, like, if you look at the history, Christianity didn't win terrain with hearts. It won terrain with iron. Like, when the conquistadors... Ah, my fucking god. Look at that word. Do you not like this one? Conquistadors. Right. So when the conquistadors went to the New World, how did they win terrain? Did they... No, they used iron. And you know what the justification was? I mean... this was actually a theological argument, right? Because, like, the Bible doesn't mention the New World. Like, America doesn't fucking exist in the Bible, by the way. Did you notice that? Like, they don't mention it at all. It doesn't say it doesn't exist, right? But at the same time, it's just not fucking mentioned. So... When they found the New World, and they found the Indians there, like, literally, they were wondering, like, do they have a soul or not? I'm not even kidding. Like, this was a theological argument. Like, can they have a soul? Because if they have a soul, then that means they need to be proselytized, right? Because, like, they found, like, you need to understand, like, they were mind baffled. Like, okay, so they find this new continent, and there's people living there that had a technology that was far beneath anything the Europeans had, right? So now they were like, okay, well, do they even praise Jesus? And the answer was no. I mean, they were even doing human sacrifices and shit, right? So, like, they're like, okay, but do they have a soul? Apparently, the answer was yes. But, in order, you know, until they settled that little disagreement, until they settled the debate, they conquered the New World with iron, not with hearts. You don't control 20 million Indian empire with 500 guys and 200 guns. No, they didn't do that. The way they did it was actually very smart, right? So the Aztecs had an empire, and they were pissing off their neighbors. So they armed the neighbors. And on top of that, the Europeans also brought plagues and diseases. And it's not the smallpox blankets shit. No, it's like literally because the Europeans had higher immune systems due to the fact that they had animal husbandry, and they were living in... crowded cities. So they had access to germs and diseases that the Indians did not. So just by coming in contact with them, they would spread plagues and decimate many of them. Because no one thought there was a continent there. It was like finding an alien planet. Can you imagine though? Like, can you imagine living that particular life? Like when they discovered the New World, like how much was transportation? Like 3 months? Like you would set sail on a dinghy, like praying that the storm doesn't fucking hit you. That, you know, like even now there are things like skyscraper waves, you know, like super tsunamis or whatever the fuck they're called. Bit out of nowhere. But yeah, so like you have like access to this new place. I mean that it's not even biological warfare. They didn't know. Like the Europeans didn't fucking know. Like they didn't discover germ theory. They didn't know, like, oh, look, we just come into contact with that tribe, and now they're dead. Like, the thing was, it wasn't even, like, an immediate effect. You know, it wasn't, like, cause and correlation. So you can, like, oh, well, if we talk with them, they die. You know, if we sneeze on them, they die. They didn't even notice that. Like, all they would probably notice is that they would talk with the tribe, and the next year, that tribe was gone, because, like, everyone got sick and died. So, you know, like, they wouldn't be able to even figure out what was happening. It was probably like an alien planet. I mean, no, I think about it. Like you go to the New World and it's like just complete vegetation and different animals and different fruits, right? Like the fucking turkey. Like what is that? You know, by the way, like Americans mentally retarded the turkey. I'm okay. So apparently the original turkey was actually a very smart bird, like really intelligent and shit. But after domesticating it, there are turkeys that are so fucking dumb they try to fly, but they break their wings because they're too heavy. Merry Christmas to you, Exparginatus. I do not understand how people can say turkey is delicious. It is one of the worst bird meats on the fucking planet. It is dry. It doesn't taste like anything. I fucking hate turkey. Like, you need to put so much seasoning on it, even to make it, like, a little bit comestible. I do not get people. I do not understand people that are like, oh my god, like, turkey is so good. How much salad do you need to stuff in its ass in order to make it even remotely eatable? No, it's not dry if you fuck up cooking. I went to 1-star Michelin restaurant and I was like, you know what? I'm going to order the fucking turkey because I'm curious. A professional chef, okay? Like someone with a degree in cooking, like a masterclass chef. He went into the kitchen to try to bake me the fucking turkey. It is vile. I mean, it's not vile. Like, it's not icky, but like, you can't compare it to chicken or duck or any other fucking bird. I do not understand, like, people, like, oh my god, like, the turkey. Oh, shut the fuck. Turkey subs are not good. Like, chicken is better. In every fucking way, like, the chicken dominates the turkey. I'm sorry, like, the Chad chicken versus the virgin turkey is a thing. You will not cook proper turkey for... There is no such thing. Cooking proper turkey. Anyway. Merry Christmas, V. Thanks for the... Why, thank you, Roboducky. No, we were just talking about duck. And here we go, we got Roboducky. I'd like to say eatable or edible or eatable. Then shut the fuck up. Anyway. Let's look at traditional masculinity is harmful. What I love the most. Let me see if I can find the thumbnail. Because there's many articles on this. This is an important topic. What I love the most is the thumbnail. Like, literally the thumbnail, right? Like, you have a father playing with his son. And they're telling you literally the opposite. You know, like, I'm looking at this picture, like, this can only bring good memories. Either, like, you're thinking of your childhood when you're playing with your daddy, or you're thinking of when you're going to have a kid and you're going to play with him. But, like, they're not showing you, you know, like, a man beating his wife or something. No. Like, it's nothing like that. It doesn't show you, like, a couple of thugs pulling guns on people, you know, being gangsta, doing gangsta signs. No, nothing like that. This is literally the brainwashing. Like they're telling you the opposite of reality, and then they're showing you the reality. In other words, it encourages you to be the type of person that doesn't think what is true, but you think what is not going to upset people. So you're not supposed to say what's true. You're supposed to say what's politically correct. And what's politically correct is that if you're a traditional man, you are harmful. Fucking God. So apparently, psychologists call traditional... they face uproar from conservatives. I guess like conservatives are the only people left on the fucking planet that have common sense. But you also... And by the way, like, this is the article, right? Let me look at this shit. Gender roles, cisgender, gender bias, gender roles, straight, masculinity ideology. Including anti-femininity, achievement. Like, imagine, okay, so, what is masculine ideology? Achievement. How the fuck is that a bad thing? is fuel of the appearance of weakness. I mean, look, imagine this, right? We're going back to a prehistoric time. Can you guys visualize this shit? We're in a prehistoric time. And the hunter, the man, right, like comes to the cave, and he didn't manage to hunt shit. Right? Now there is no welfare. There is no government to be the daddy. No, like if he doesn't hunt shit, the people in that fucking cave, they starve to death, right? Now, how should he behave? Right? Like he can start crying and being worried about it, and then he panics everyone in the fucking cave. What does that solve? Absolutely nothing, right? It doesn't solve anything. So if you go to the people in the cave, right, like the 5 kids there, and you're like, well, you know, I couldn't hunt shit. Like, we may starve to death tomorrow. They're not going to be happy, right? Like, they're going to panic. Or, you can just hold it in. You sit in front of the fire, and you meditate silently. Right? Like, you try, and you're thinking, you know what, maybe tomorrow I can hunt something. This is why men, you know, like, now instead of standing in front of the fire, they stand in front of the fucking television. But, like, think about it. It makes sense, right? Like you if you show weakness, who benefits? Who benefits by showing weakness? Right? I mean, and when you do show weakness, because there are examples with Jordan Peterson pissing his eyes, Kyle Rittenhouse pissing his eyes, Kavanaugh pissing his eyes, you get the social justice activist on your fucking ass. You know, making pictures of that, sharing it, laughing at you, mocking you, ridiculing you, trying to break you. Like, there is absolutely no positivity in showing weakness. And by the way, men, they do show weakness, just not to the public. Right? They do show weakness in their family, they show weakness to their close friends. But, like, just because men don't go out and bitch in front of the public, that doesn't mean that, they don't have emotions and feelings. And look at this. Like, so what else is masculinity? Adventure, risk, and violence. But, like, motherfucker, sometimes violence is necessary. You know, like, if you walk on the street and someone gropes your wife's ass, like, what do you need to do in that situation? Like, please tell me. If you are on the street and someone tries to beat up your kid, like, what do you do? You know? But even then, I will tell you why this whole paper is considering masculinity to be toxic. It's due to the fact that government is now the masculine, right? Like, everyone else is to be a pansy, and the government is the strong force that provides, right? You need money, you go to the government. You need welfare, you go to the government. You need protection, you call the government. Like, literally that. The chat government. I love this one. Oppression includes discrimination against and or systemic denial of resources. Oh, shut the fuck up. Every human being on the fucking planet, regardless if they're woke or not, they go to work and they produce resources. And the way they distribute the resources is as follows. First of all, they're going to take care of their needs, right? Clothing, food, water, housing. You know, like that's the first thing that every fucking human does. Then, they're going to care about their family. Their immediate family. Their wife, their children, then their parents. If there's any money left after this, they may give to charity. They may give to friends. Some may not give at all, by the way. And this is true for woke and conservatives. Like, this is not an ideology thing. It's just reality. Like, some people just don't want to give. It's fine, you know, whatever. But this is the principal thing with the resources, right? Like, if everyone is going to go to work, is going like everyone wants as many resources for themselves as possible. This is human nature, right? Like, and you can notice this, that no matter how woke a person is, the moment they get to government, the moment they're going to try to take as much as possible. Like, I have yet to see a person that doesn't negotiate his salary to gain more money. I want to see the fucking person that goes to negotiate their salary. You know, like a woke person. I want to see the wokest of the woke going to a job and saying, you know what? I don't deserve this much money, like too much resources. Give it to some other minority instead of me. Literally no one does that. So, there's another thing which is healthy, right? Like this is normal. Like everything that I'm talking here is part of the old normal, I guess. When human beings associate with each other, so let's say you have a housing association or a tenant association. Well, they care about the tenant first, you know, they care about their neighborhood first. Like if you have a group of people that are from a neighborhood representing that neighborhood, they're going to care about that neighborhood first, right? They're not going to care about the neighborhood down the fucking street. Like for example, right, in the village of my parents-in-law, right now, they have the opportunity to get gas. I know, shocking, Romania, what can I say? You know, they're in the middle of goddamn nowhere. Apparently the gas duct finally arrived. But there is a problem, right? Like the gas company can either give gas to their city, so to their village, or to another village, right? So if their village goes first, then it's going to be 2 more years until the next village gets it. If the other village gets the gas, then it's going to be 2 more years until their village. You get what I mean, right? Like they can't branch both villages at once. Do you think like one of the village goes, oh well, you know, we have too many resources here, so we're going to check our privilege because historically the other village. No one fucking does that. They're like, no, the gas us first. Literally, they need gas to cook, warm water, heat the housing. The homes. So it is human nature, right? Like, and also, like if you have the mayor, like the mayor should care about his city first. You don't want the mayor that cares about another city, right? Like this is fucking normal. This is not rocket science. Right? The government should care about your nation first, which apparently is racist now. So this is like the normal way of things, but unfortunately, You got people in the academia telling you no. That's not true. That's not true. No. Like you need to stop hoarding resources. You need to shut the fuck up. You know, like you're a university professor. You probably have tenure. How much are you milking those students of all their cash? How much is student debt now, and how much are you making out of that? You sleazy fuck. This is why I do not understand why people listen to university professors that talk about oppression and, you know, equity and shit. Why is it equitable that a university professor gets paid so much? When the students are suffering from student debt. How is it the fault of the government for student debt and not the university professors? And yes, Madgi, I used to be a furry. I don't fucking understand this. You know, like I thought it's common knowledge after so many fucking years. But every now and then there's a person in the chat asking you, it's like, oh my god, were you a furry? Like I was a mass murderer or some shit, or that I would be ashamed. I need to be ashamed, I guess. No, yes, I was a furry. But then it became boring. Like, you know what's the problem with being a furry? You have to interact with other furries. It's horrible. And then I got a girlfriend, and I stopped being a furry. But still, I used to be. It's worse than murder. I don't know. You know, like, apparently, like, the furry half-life is give or take 5 years? Like, very few people are being furries more than 5 years. Or was it 10? No, well, the thing is, like, it's not that I'm triggered. It's, like, big deal, you know? It's, like, it's 2022, motherfucker. Like, it could have been worse. I mean, looking at the furry community now, holy fucking shit. At least I was a furry when it was cool. Being a furry now, Jesus fucking Christ. You do have to deal with the other furries. My god, like if I were to make a video about like the furries, you would not believe the way they fucking behave. Like literally every single sentence like, hi, you want a yiff? And if you say no, they get depressed. And they start victimizing themselves. Like, oh my god, no one wants to yiff with me. Like, why no one cares about me. No one... And like, there's so many people you can block, like the internet doesn't have lists long enough. I did not have a fursuit. Like, that is another misconception. You know how expensive those things are? And even when I was a furry, I would find the fursuits cringe. It's like wearing a fucking mascot for a baseball team or something. Like, why the fuck would you want to buy... I genuinely never understood that shit. Like, I just like the art. Just like the fucking art. I like looking at Rose the Bat. She was plump and ushikushi. What is if? You don't want to know, Tefik. Look, Tefik, trust me. It's a lot better if you don't. It's haram, Tefik. That's what if is. It's haram, okay? Just don't. God. No one wants to if you do. Everyone wanted to if with me. Babe, I was writing fucking paragraphs, okay? Like when I was pressing enter, your screen would just be filled with the most descriptive goodness. Like the pixels were falling from the sky with that shit. And then I would get like a reply from a furry, like a one-liner. Oh, do me baby. Oh, fuck me harder. And I was like, dude, put some effort into this. Like we're not being paid, right? Like there is no championship of ifing or anything, like, but like put some ass into it. God, it's supposed to be enjoyable for both people, right? I'm not upset, Matt G. I'm being upset for comedic entertainment. It's comedy relief. Like I'm trying to entertain the chat. You never thought I was a furry? How would you? Fucking hell. How would I supposed to look like? Like what should give it away? Bring the troll bat so chat can hear the troll. No! Oh god. I was the erotica master, yes, literally. Quite literally. Everyone that left my DMs were satisfied. I was so good at roleplay, that lady wanted to be my slave. One lady wanted to be my slave. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Brandon, you're lying. You're full of shit. And you know why? Because there were no ladies there. Every single day. Like, I swear to fucking God, in the community I was, every single day, another furry pretending to be a woman was outed as a man. Back then, there was no things with, like, transgender or anything. No. Like, back then, there were people pretending to be ladies to get more attention. And every day another one was like, oh, coming out as a man. I always thought V was a furry when he confirmed it. I knew my furry radar was still functioning. I think girls can be bunny girls or cat girls. I don't know, man, but I don't think they can be furries. I think like, there may have been a couple of girls that were furries and they never fucking lived. Like I think it may have been possible. Did all this start because of... No, it has nothing to do with Playboy. So this furry thing was played between two men. It's more disgusting. Tefik, I swear to God, it's 2022, Tefik. You need to change that mindset. You need to change that mindset or I'm banning you from the chat. Well, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Not furries? Would not date a furry? Well, see, the thing was, like, I was a furry and I got dated by a non-furry. But do you know how I managed to get a girlfriend? Like, do you know? I didn't tell her that I was a furry. It's like... I genuinely, like, don't understand, like, this thing where... Because I saw other furries deal with this shit, right? Like, eventually they would get a woman or something. And then they would tell them about what furriness is, and the woman would be creeped out. And I'm like, why the fuck are you telling her? It's like, dude, just separate that shit. Right? Like, just shut the fuck up. You know, like, unless she's from the fandom, and unless, like, you know... I guess it's like the idea that, well, maybe what if she's into it? If she's into it, why the fuck would you want to date a furry? Just don't talk about it. Did she learn it later? No! The moment I had a girlfriend, I wasn't even interested in the furry thing. Of course it was a good call. It's like telling your girlfriend, hey, you know what? I have bathwater in my... Want to come into my room so you can see my booby mousepad? Do you want to come into my room so you can see the bathwater that I bought from an e-girl? being furries is like being vegan. Back then, there was like this furry organizer, I guess. I think he's still around. He was a scientist. Uncle Kage. He had a roach as a fursona. Like, who the fuck has a roach as a fursona? Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, well, Uncle Kage did. And at the time he was saying, it's like, look, if you're a furry, right? It's not something that the public needs to know. It's not something that the public, well, like, don't talk to the cameras, don't talk to reporters, just keep it to yourself. That was such gold sage fucking advice. Like, that was such gold standard internet knowledge. Kage stabbed to Griffin in the back. Man, you're a fucking Catholic. Why do you know the lore? And by the way, I streamed with Ranting Griffin. But why do you know the lore? What the fuck? Yeah, you know shut the fuck up, man. How do you summon a succubus? Okay, like tell me that, and then I'll be like, okay, you know, he knows all the subject. What if your wife secretly listens to the voices in your walls? I don't know. I genuinely do not. I fear the day. I dread it. Demonic bindings are actually straightforward. Why does a Catholic know about demonic binding? You know what? Whatever. Okay. I guess maybe you just collect the knowledge, but you don't plan to use it. Demonic bindings. Why can't you do angelic bindings, though? Like, why does it have to be demonic? Why can't you bind an angel? By the way, like, what would be the opposite of a succubus? Would it be like a cupid? I think it would be a cupid, wouldn't it? I had a succubus dream last night. Those are nightmares designed to feel good. All right. Let's see the conservatives being upset about the fact that masculinity is now considered harmful. It's a particular constellation of standards that have held sway over large segments of the population, including anti-femininity achievement. By the way, I don't think like traditional masculinity is anti-femininity. It basically teaches you, like, if you're a man, you know, act like a man. And you know, I really thought, like, what does it mean to act like a man? What is the essence of being a man? I don't know what the essence of being a woman is. But the essence of being a man is to have people depend on you. Right? Like, think about it. So, you are a man if tomorrow you die and there's people who suffer because of your absence. Not emotionally, but like physically, right? Like, you were providing them with income. Like, you were providing them with resources, and now that you're gone, their life is becoming very difficult. I think that's when you're a man, right? So, because in order to be able to provide for others, you have to also provide for yourself. So, I think, like, the first part of, like, being a young adult is when you move out of your house and you are able to become independent. So, you have your own job. Like, you don't need money from mommy and daddy, right? Like, that's when you become a young adult. And when you can provide for others, like you have children, you have a wife, right? Like you may help your parents, right? Like that's when you become a man. I think that's what it means, right? So like traditional masculinity is the ability to provide for others. I don't know what it means to be a woman. Like what is the essence of femininity? But I do know what is the essence for a man. So apparently, the psychological magazines say that the pressure boys and men feel to conform with certain aspects of traditional masculinity can lead to poor health outcomes, including higher rates of suicide, substance abuse, violence, and early death. Yeah, you know, like correlation doesn't equal causation. It's true that many boys end up like that. But I don't think it's like the pressure of being a man. I think it's like the pressure of finding a girlfriend, for example. Right? So you want to have, because every single human wants companionship. Like, we're not talking about sex, right? We're talking about like finding a significant other. So if you want to find like a woman, right, and you can't, you just don't know, and then society mocks you as an incel, which is pretty much like a terrorist. There is absolutely no one to teach you like how to behave, and you have like all of these journalists and all of these academics that tell you, no, like, in order to find a girlfriend, you know what you need to do? You need to be less masculine. Because that's what women like. That's what women get moist on. Being less masculine. Like, every single woman, you ask them, like, what do you want? And they're like, I want the less masculine boy available. I want a man that shows weakness. I want a man that is the pushover, right? Like, he never stands for himself. Like, let's look at the things that they consider, right? So okay, what are the things that they consider to be masculinity? And let's see how much women would like these following standards, right? So they would want a very feminine man that doesn't want to have any achievements, that is very weak and proud to show it, that doesn't want to have adventure, never takes risks, and is a pushover, right? How many women want this in a man? These attributes that I just mentioned. And this is like one of the main reasons that teenage boys are unhappy. Because they do not know how to find a significant other. And when they can't, they're called incels. And society ridicules them further. And then you have like the student debt as well, like crushing you. You know, like think about it this way. How many help centers do you have for men? Right? Like, for women, you have a help center. For LGBT people, like if you're trans, you have a help center. Right? I remember in Canada, like, someone wanted to make a private person, like, wanted to make a domestic abuse shelter for men. It was immediately shut down by feminists. So, like, you know, like, maybe it's not just traditional masculinity. Maybe it's because society is just being dicks to people. Women say all the time they want adventure. Oh, they must suffer from toxic masculinity then. We have prisons for men. That is true. That is a good observation. You know what? I didn't think about it, but it's true. It's like, what do we have for men? Well, we have prisons. And when you have like a male space, you know, like video games, right? It's like where men like finally cope. Like, honestly, like, video games help me cope so fucking much. I had chat. I had such a difficult time growing up, you can't fucking imagine. I'm not saying like there were people that had more difficult time than me, but I had it pretty rough. You know, I consider growing up to be one of the worst parts of my life. And you know, like, every single time, I would just play video games. Like, whenever I could, I would play video games. I would forget about all of the bad shit. It was great. You know, it was great. And then, you have the moral busybodies going into my fucking video game. And we need to remove toxicity. We need to... We need to change this. We need to change that. I am so fucking glad I grew up in a time where those people didn't exist yet. I am so fucking glad, you know, like, because I could actually enjoy my video games. I could, yeah, and by the way, like, all this venting online, you know, like, saying that you want to fuck someone's mom and that type of shit, I was probably the one doing it, right? Like, I was on your Xbox saying how much I want to fuck your mom. But I will tell you this. No one got hurt, you know? No one got hurt. People wanted to fuck my mom as well. God rest her soul. But it was fun. It was cathartic. You know, I was expressing myself. This is what the academics wanted. They wanted me to express myself. I was expressing myself. Wasn't fucking good enough. They had to ban me. Poor Kai Drakai. Poor Kai Drakai saying that, you know, Kai Drakai wanted to fuck your mom apparently in the chat. But he's ashamed of it now. He now regrets that. I don't regret it, Kai Drakai. I genuinely wanted. I wanted to spread those legs and enter inside where the worm is. I wanted to do that. Absolutely no shame, Kai Drakai. No shame whatsoever. Wanted to do it in the ass as well. Like, I wanted to spread those butt cheeks. You know, take a good look at the prostate because your mom had the prostate. Get into that poo-poo. Go really deep there. That's what I wanted to do. And then the Trust and Safety Councils came in and they said, no, you can't do that. You can't. It's harmful. It's toxic. Okay. It is what it is. You know, it's just... There's a lot of sadness in life. What can I say? From furry to this, dude, I was both at the same time. I was a toxic gamer and a furry. Like, when I was playing video games, especially Street Fighter, right? I dominated my opponent both in skill, in mental, and fortitude. Like part of playing with me, like first of all, you know, like all the insults that I was typing, when I pressed enter, and I did the click-clack on the keyboard, and I pressed enter again, that was psychic damage from my keyboard to your brain. And you had to resist that if you wanted to actually be good. To have a chance at beating me, you had to resist that shit. Would V use Nancy Pelosi as a gamer? What do you mean, like an avatar of Nancy Pelosi? That would actually be funny. I'm not using my ring light. Every fucking time I use my ring light, someone fucking complains. Oh, it's not positioned correctly. Oh, you're using it different. Shut the fuck up. Not using my ring light. Technically, I'm supposed to place it behind me, but it's not the correct height. I can't get it properly. The desk that I have is too large. It doesn't fucking move. It breaks. Like, shut the fuck up. I'm not using my ring light. How would my ring light add anything? Like, you can see me just fucking fine. Shut the fuck up. You know what? I am willing to bet that the people who tell me to use a ring light, they're probably into some video studio editing shit. Like, the only way you can tell a person to use a ring light is, like, if you're that bothered, it means that you're probably doing this as a work thing, right? Like, you're, like, doing, like, video studio lighting, and it's like, the lighting effect. It's kind of like, you know, this is what happens when you show art to artists. Like you have a big titty succubus or something, you know, and it looks like got cool milkers, and you show it to an artist, and the artist goes like, I don't like the shading. I don't like the way the belly button is like, oh, dude, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you not have a penis? Why isn't it growing? And the answer is like, right, like when someone does it professionally, they get bothered by like the smallest inconsistencies. I will turn it on tomorrow. Put the ring light tomorrow. I will put it on the RGB fucking lighting. And it's going to light up the room. How about that? Anyway. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Again, if anyone wants to watch, wants to clip, to edit, not to clip, to edit the stream where I made the maid-chan, I would appreciate it. I would say I would pay you an exposure, but I can't, because I can't expose you to anyone. I don't have viewers anymore. Oh, look, Lorraine is here. Lorraine, now that you're here, I can finally go to sleep. So, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. I'll take to tomorrow. Take care.